was an OG. Like, Charlie's been around the block. He's, his brother is Eddie Murphy. He's seen the epicenter of like the fame that we all wanted to acquire.
We gonna hang out with Rick James tonight, you know what I'm saying? And here he comes out the room, and I look at him, and I'm not bullshit, man. I seen like an orange, his aura or whatever. I seen it. He's orange.
There's nobody like Charlie. Nobody was funnier than that. And some of my biggest laughs in my life are Charlie. Yeah. I miss my brother.
There's one man in comedy even Dave Chappelle feared. Not for jokes, not for fame, but for truth. The kind of presence that commands respect instantly. This is the story of Charlie Murphy, legend, fearless, unstoppable. Charlie was an UGG. He had been around the block and everyone knew him. Eddie Murphy's brother, yes. But more than that, Charlie had seen the epicenter of fame that we all wanted to touch. That night, we were going to hang out with Rick James, and then he walked out. And I swear, I saw an aura, like fire, radiating off him. There's nobody like Charlie. Nobody. Some of the biggest laughs of my life came from him. Yeah, I miss my brother. There was one comedian that even Dave Chappelle didn't mess with, and that was Charlie Murphy. When he entered a room, he wasn't playing games. He told it like it was, didn't care about industry politics, and wasn't afraid of anyone. Charlie could expose someone while making everyone laugh, completely owning the room, and that's why, even though Chappelle was king of comedy, there was one man he never crossed. Let's break down why Charlie was one of the most feared comedians and why even Chappelle respected and feared him.
Charlie was definitely funny because every time he do Buck Nasty, right? Like, he'll be sitting in the back of the time machine, and as soon as they say, okay, roll sound, Charlie get to shaking like this. It's not. All right, just show him, like, just give him an example of what it's like to shoot this. From Doctors? Yeah. All right, ready? Roll sound. Ready?
Charlie was doubly funny. Every time he performed, he shook with energy. People laughed until tears came. Most know him as Eddie Murphy's older brother, but he carved out his own lane: comedy, acting, storytelling. He could take real life experiences and turn them into wild, unforgettable stories that had everyone laughing and shaking their heads in disbelief. He was fearless, unique, and unforgettable.
Paula Deen has been forgiven. I know you've seen it on the news. They forgave him, you know? And I remember the very first day when I heard that scandal break out, I was watching TV and the news came on. They said, today, Paula Deen's entire Food Network empire, valued at $17 million a year, has come under jeopardy due to the fact that Paula's been caught using the N-word, otherwise known as I was in my living room, I was like, wow, $17 million a year for saying the word. That's messed up, man. I say the word about 200 times a day myself. So when they forgave her, you know.
Charlie wasn't just a funny guy, he commanded the room. You could feel the tension when he entered, but it wasn't aggressive. It was a presence, a weight of authenticity. Even Dave, the master of timing and wit, knew better than to challenge him. Charlie's energy wasn't loud, it was undeniable. Every laugh, every pause, every glance was a lesson in respect. This was the man who made legends like Dave Chappelle pause and marvel. Charlie truly broke into the spotlight with The Chappelle Show, where he became legendary for his Hollywood stories. Rick James, Prince, outrageous, chaotic, yet believable. What set Charlie apart wasn't just the stories, it was the way he told them. No sugarcoating, no industry games. He spoke his truth, laid it all out. And while Eddie's success could have been bittersweet, Charlie remained proud, fearless, and authentic.
So watching Eddie's success had to be bittersweet for a guy like you, because
No,
you're
it was not bittersweet, it was, I can't tell you
bitter.
how proud I am about my brother. There's nothing bitter about it.
Be honest for a minute.
I'm being totally honest.
There must have been time.
To see someone rise above that, okay?
Right.
Because before my generation or whatever, I can't look back and go, oh, yeah, you know, my uncle went to Harvard and then he was this.
Right.
No, we was, you know, regular American black people, you know, struggling.
Your brother is probably the greatest stand-up I've ever seen. Now,
well, I'm not going to disagree with you on that.
And I've told Eddie that. But Eddie made you his bodyguard.
Behind the scenes, Charlie had this aura like he was untouchable, not scary in a cliche way, but a force of nature. Dave Chappelle respected him, yes, but there was also fear. Fear of calling him out, fear of being seen as lesser. Charlie had lived, fought, and earned every inch of his presence. That's why comedians, no matter how big, gave him the room and the silence he commanded.
Your brother is probably the greatest stand-up I've ever seen. Now,
Well, I'm not going to disagree with you on that.
and I've told Eddie that. But Eddie made you his bodyguard. In a way,
Well,
that
you know, when I came out the Navy, that's all I was actually qualified to do. You know,
Right.
When I was in the Navy, I worked in the boiler room.
right. So you got
So,
out, and Eddie gave
didn't
you a
have
job.
a boiler room where he needed
Now look,
employees, so
you get out of the Navy. Your brother's a superstar.
superstar.
You're the bodyguard brother, and everyone looks at you like, oh man, he's just there because Eddie's giving him a job. I mean,
I never went to my brother and asked him for anything.
nothing.
Nothing.
Put you on salary.
My brother put me on salary. He gave me a job. I didn't ask him to give me a job.
Right.
He asked me, do I want to work for him?
And all you got to do is hang out and protect Eddie.
Charlie wasn't just a comedian, he was a presence. Coming out of the Navy, becoming Eddie's bodyguard, he earned respect on his own terms. Not scary in a weird way, but an aura of confidence, honesty, and fearless energy that made people know not to mess with him. He didn't play Hollywood politics, didn't kiss anyone's behind, and stayed true to himself. That's why Dave Chappelle never crossed him. When stories of Rick James and the wild nights in Hollywood came alive on Chappelle's show, it wasn't just humor, it was truth. Charlie told it raw, unfiltered. Dave's genius elevated it, yes, but the fearlessness came from Charlie. That fear, that awe, wasn't manufactured, it was earned. And every comedian watching knew it. This was a man who set his own rules and refused to be minimized. Charlie always questioned the system, refused to accept anything just for a paycheck, and inspired others to rise by their craft, not money. He wasn't polished by Hollywood, but earned respect on the streets. He never compromised his voice to please executives. In his special I Will Not Apologize, he made it clear he wouldn't bow to criticism. That raw, fearless authenticity is what made people fear and respect him. It never crossed him. It wasn't ego, it was respect. Charlie could hold a room, dismantle pretension, and make truth look effortless. Behind the laughs were lessons in fearlessness, authenticity, and command. You didn't mess with Charlie Murphy, not because he threatened you, but because he made you confront the reality of who you were in comparison to his unwavering self-possession. Games, he called out shady behavior and refused to let Hollywood define him. Like Dave Chappelle, he earned respect by being real. Charlie could expose your dirty laundry, reveal the behind, the scenes of comedy, and command attention without compromising his truth. That's why everyone, including Chappelle, knew better than to mess with him. Brought the wild, unfiltered stories that made people sit up and take notice. Dave provided the platform, timing, and comedic genius to turn those stories into legendary sketches. Together, they were unstoppable. Behind the scenes, other comedians knew Charlie didn't play games. He stayed true to his own rules, and that fearlessness really changed the game in comedy. Fearless, real, and unstoppable. Even after his passing in 2017, Dave Chappelle honored him, recognizing how much Charlie shaped comedy and his own life. Charlie Murphy wasn't just Eddie Murphy's brother or a sketch legend, he was fearless, honest, and impossible to underestimate, who today commands respect the way Charlie did. His legacy reminds us that authenticity and fearlessness are unmatched. So when people ask why Dave Chappelle never crossed Charlie Murphy, the answer is actually simple. It wasn't about fear in the usual sense, it was about respect. Charlie Murphy carried a presence that couldn't be faked. He had lived real experiences, spoke his truth, and never changed himself to fit Hollywood. That kind of authenticity made people listen, and sometimes even step back. Through the Chappelle Show, those legendary stories about Rick James, Prince, and wild Hollywood nights turned Charlie into a comedy icon. But behind the laughs was something deeper, a man who refused to compromise who he was. Even after his passing in 2017, Charlie Murphy's legacy still echoes through comedy, because in an industry full of performances, Charlie Murphy was always 100% real. If you enjoyed this story, make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and check out the next video on your screen for more untold stories from comedy and Hollywood.